Hello and welcome to my video today, you guys. It is Monday, which means we are creating a simple card using a fun technique. Our technique today is going to be focusing on designer paper because this paper is beautiful. It is the Magnolia Lane designer paper. You can get this in a pack of 12 by 12 and it comes with 12 sheets, or if you want a big pack of this designer paper that only has 4 designs in it but it has more designer paper in it, you can get that for $17. So if you're making a lot of projects with this particular designer paper, you might want to get the bigger pack that has just 4 of the designs, and then you can create and mass produce different things, or it's just a nice option. So all of that information listed below in the YouTube description, and it's on my website as well. It's something that Stampin' Up! Just released recently, and so it's not in the catalog, it's a separate item, and if you're interested and you can't find the information, let me know. So here is the designer paper we're going to use, and then we're just using the sentiment from this one. This is To a Wild Rose. It does have a set of framelits that go with it. We did use one of the framelits today in the project, but this is gorgeous. I love this set. I love that it says blessed. It's one of my favorite sets, even though it's a floral set, and I'm not a huge fan of floral sets. I feel like it's just very versatile, and that's what I really like about it. So this is To a Wild Rose, and so let's jump in and get started because we're also going to be doing a little bit of heat embossing. So let's go ahead and start with a Whisper White piece of cardstock. We'll fold this in half, and this is going to be our card base. And we can set this aside and we can work on these pieces right here. So the first piece we have is going to be a Petal Pink piece, and it's going to cover the entire front of our card when we're done. Then we have a piece of basic black cardstock. So this is going to be 4 inches this way and 5 1/4 this way. And it's going to create this great layer. So now let's grab our items that we're going to need to emboss with. And what I have is I have my silver embossing powder. We're going to use silver today. I have my Versamark ink pad right here. And I don't think I need any of this stuff quite yet. I think we can do this part just here on my work surface. So we have our silver embossing powder right here. I'm going to zoom out a tiny bit. And then we have our Versamark ink pad. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our black cardstock and our Versamark ink pad, and we're going to slide this down the edge of our cardstock. And we're going to do 2 sides at once, and I'm just sliding this down. And then what we're going to do is cover this . Okay, so now while we have our embossing powder out, what I'm going to do is grab this, which came from the dies from this stamp set, the dies that coordinate with this. It's this really beautiful image. It's a little hard to see on my black mat there. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. So I'm just going to use my powder tool first, and then we're going to use this sentiment and dip it in our Versamark ink, and then I'm going to try to... And this came out beautiful. Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's set all of this aside and then put our card together. So I'm just going to pick this up and wipe off my space just a little bit. And then we can put this together. So what we'll do is we will add our designer paper to our black piece here. And I knew what I was going to do is have to kind of eyeball this, because anytime you do embossing like this on the edge, what's going to happen is you're not going to have a very even place. So you're not going to be able to just like take a 1/4 inch off and everything will be seen perfect. So I knew that I just wanted to leave this, and then I would kind of just go back and forth and take off a little bit at a time until it worked with my design. Other really fun thing to do with this card would be to tear your designer paper. Do you guys remember that technique where you like tore it and it had like a torn edge? I am not good at that technique because I never think it looks right, even though that's how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look torn and not even. I always struggle with it. So I was afraid if I tore it, I would just keep tearing and keep tearing, thinking it didn't look proper. So I added a little bit of foam to this piece, and then we're going to bring our Petal pink piece over, and we're going to layer this together. So right in the middle. So you can see there's a little bit more black cardstock popping out here and here, not as much over here, but that's really the way it's designed to work when you do that technique with the embossing powder on the edges. So we'll add this to our cardstock. Next thing we're gonna do is bring some of this silver thread. It's so hard to see on camera because it's so thin. We'll cut off a piece of this. And remember, our focal point is the designer paper. So we really don't want to add a bunch of layers and cover it up. We just really want the piece of designer paper to be the star of the card. So I've just put some adhesive kind of all in the middle here, and I'm just going to press this really thin silver thread. I'm just kind of letting it do whatever it wants, like when it turns and kind of just goes everywhere. I just want it to be a real mess on here. A lot of it. I want to press it down into that adhesive, and then we'll turn this last piece and stick that into an adhesive. And then what we'll do is take our sentiment, and we're going to put a whole bunch of dimensionals on this, because I want it to be really, really sturdy. So we have our card here, and we have our sentiment, and then kind of this messy twine. And what we're going to do is stick this right in the middle and press the dimensionals down. So that's going to hold that twine even more, and it's sort of off the edge here. So it's not directly in the middle, but that is the card for today. And you can kind of see that messy twine back there. So here is another one that I did. Same design, and I love the way they turned out. I would love to know if you guys like this embossed look on the edge, what you think of it. It's one of my favorite techniques. I don't do it enough because embossing's kind of messy. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this, and I'll be back later this week to create with you some more. I hope you have a wonderful day. So much for hanging out with me today and watching my videos. Here are 2 other of my most recent videos. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will catch you in my next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day.